Yo, what up, street gods? They're Kim. All right, some turbo thoughts, some thoughts on media. So first and foremost, what is media? What does it mean, etc.? Media just means me, medium, media amongst yourself, amongst with others, middle, and so in some ways, almost everything we consume nowadays can be considered media. So for example, videos, blogs, vlogs, emails, email newsletters, photos, videos, audio, music, podcasts, video podcasts, etc. Anything on the YouTubies, the socials could be considered media. Now, what you probably are a media creator. You make photos, you make videos, you make writings, etc. Yet, the problem is nowadays we all insta slaves, right? Which means we're slaves to Instagram, social media, even the YouTubies. Like a thought is, could PewDiePie just delete his YouTube account and be okay? If he was really smart, he would just own pewdiepie.com and have everyone go to pewdiepie.com and use, VideoPress or some other self-hosted solution and create his own media empire that way, instead of the digital sharecropping on the YouTubies. And it's very intelligent to think very, very extremely long term. So for example, think 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years out. It seems the trend is, or at least now, right? There's thoughts on a quote recession or whatever. I don't buy it. There's these concerns or fears that what's going to happen is currently ad revenue is super down for Google, YouTube. Google owns YouTube. And therefore, I see moving forward, Google is going to start becoming more frugal with things, like even in Google Photos, right? Like they were essentially like killing so much money on the free unlimited hosting. I'm sure that's going to kind of come to an end. Even with YouTube, because they're going to try to milk their investment. Because I don't know, but to my understanding, I don't actually think YouTube is profitable, even though they put in ads and stuff like that. I think millions, billions of dollars they have to do for the bandwidth, uploading, the infrastructure, etc. I think probably far surpasses the money actually created from ads. I mean, Google's smart, YouTube's smart. They're thinking very, very long term, because now YouTube is essentially all TV, right? The question is, what is one thing that babies and the elderly both share? They both watch YouTube, right? They're not on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Everyone loves the YouTubies. And this is where Google is good, because whenever people want to search anything, they're going to use Google, right? So being able to be easily indexable by Google seems to be an intelligent strategy. Even for myself, like I could like manually type out my website URLs, but even I get lazy, so I'm like, I know I've written about this before, so I'll just Google Eric Kim XYZ, like Eric Kim Heraclitus or Eric Kim Stoicism, and I'll find my own site, right? And with media, it could be anything, right? Like you blog, and anything you create and publish and share is media. So all media is good media. Now, there's also this funny bias is that but it's all about quality, not quantity. Okay, I have an interesting theory. So I think this aphorism or this bias or this concept notion, it actually comes from unproductive scholars or academic types who are very envious and jealous of productive people, and therefore they see what they create as quote, low quality or whatever, and then they see what they create as high quality, But you know the saying in showbiz, right? You're only as good as your last movie, you're only as good as your last book, whatever. Recency is good. Like even the way Google search SEO works is that which was published more recently actually gets a bump in the search results. So this is an optimistic thought for you too. Like let's say you have a blog website, if you've already written about something and it still interests you, feel free to write the exact same thing, the same exact topic, but just write a little bit differently. Google will probably prioritize you. And also the good thing with YouTubies, essentially it's free marketing, it's free advertising. It's like so this is where I'm so courageous, where like honestly at this point I could really care less about SEO. I already done mastery, I figured it out and become #1, and so now it doesn't really interest me anymore. I'm just more interested in creating and sharing whatever. So I think Google low-key looks at my website like, it's like, this website has some weird things written about it now. Let us kind of like bump down the results for it. But we cannot deny that this website blog has been around for 10 years, has over 20,000 blog posts, many of them over 1,000 words long and in-depth and actually intelligible, and therefore we cannot help it, but we must keep them on top. Yeah, right, pretty funny. But now actually whenever I upload something to YouTube, it actually shows up really high in the search results. So it seems to be a good idea to upload something to YouTube and just actually link it back to your own website, your own blog, your own platform. Essentially you want to own your own platform. Bluehost.com, install WordPress.org is the way. Even with videos, right? Just upload everything you do to videopress.com on your own website too. The premium Jetpack plugin. The rule of thumb is, if it is free or if you don't pay for it, you don't own it, right? There's a notion of digital sharecropping, which is like, you remember back in the days, sharecropping is like, oh, you know, we'll give you the land, you could till, you could do, and then you just end up becoming a slave to the land. So even home ownership, right? The reason why it should be called home ownership is because the home owns you, right? As long as you got a mortgage, right? No matter how rich you are, as long as you still have a remaining mortgage, the home owns you, right? And every time your toilet breaks, or the water heater goes out, you're a slave to Home Depot. So that's why in modern day times, the people's like, oh yeah, but I have collateral, or I have investments, or da-da-da. I'm like, nah bro, as long as you still own money and you get a bill every single month, you ain't own yourself. The only way to own yourself or think about riches is actually your bank account, savings account, and not having any debt, whether it be a house debt, any loans, even if it may be quote investments, still in debt. So I would actually not wish home ownership even on my worst enemy. I think the whole like home ownership thing in America is like essentially my take on it is it's kind of like a big scheme for banks to make money, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, you want people to borrow money, buy houses, and make interest rates. And all this stuff about like home ownership, American dream, is just another form of propaganda. I mean, you could subscribe to it or you don't have to. I personally choose not to subscribe to it. I would personally prefer to just like, you know, be free on the streets, walking around topless, getting a nice tan, etc. And so with media, you can talk about anything, right? Just talk about philosophical thoughts, things that motivate you, etc. My biggest pro tip is just get a GoPro Hero. You know, like if you can afford it, just buy the newest one, GoPro.com, or just buy a used one, whatever, you know. It's so funny because you remember when the GoPro first came, everyone and their dog bought one, and then now it's all just collecting dust somewhere. I'm using the GoPro Hero 10 Black, and I'm holding it with my left hand. It's facing forward. I don't have the front LCD or the blinking lights on. Shooting what, 1080p, 24 FPS, and I'm just streaming my thoughts. I'm just hand holding it, no external mics, no nothing, shooting ultra wide mode. And I kind of like the idea that with media you create, you're essentially creating a quote cult of yourself. Even the word YouTube, right? You, like you, tube, like TV. So technically it should be like TV about yourself. Yet seems like the bias with YouTube now is like the trend is kind of more towards like you got to make like flashy Hollywood production type looking things. But in fact, my thought is it might be better for yourself to treat it like more quote ghetto, more personal. I mean, even for myself, I would prefer the thing which has inferior quality in terms of video, audio, sound, whatever, but be actually much more intimate. I think what people are seeking is intimacy. They want digital intimacy. And even the reason why, you know, I love Elon Musk or Kanye West, Twitter, whatever, is I think it's just hilarious and fun and interesting and honest and uncensored. And so this is where I really like the idea of Twitter is, you know, essentially since Elon bought it, it ain't finna get censored, right? And the problem with you know, free press, freedom of speech, whatever, is that a lot of the crazies come out, a lot of the bad guys come out and say bad things. But I feel like that's the double-edged sword of democracy, freedom, and freedom of speech. So I mean, certainly one must figure out intelligent ways to curb violence and hate and stuff like that. My personal thought is, if you create like a Twitter account or something like that, it actually must be tied to your real identity. Like, it could kind of be more like the South Korea system. It's like, you want to create a social media account, add your social security number to it, and I think that individuals, if they want to say hateful bad things, they should actually have their real identity tied to it, so there is actually skin in the game. But like, for me, I don't really believe in quote internet anonymity. I mean, I'm not about like, you know, spying or whatever, but like just think to yourself, if what you do on Google Incognito night, what you do on Google Incognito were made public information, if it was on the news, how would you feel about it, right? Because sooner or later it's gonna leak. So never do nothing or say nothing that you don't feel other people comfortable doing or knowing. Vlogging, yeah. It's actually funny. It's the modern day success is to be a vlogger, and so it seems in modern day life, to just be able to share your thoughts and just put it out there seems to be a good idea. And I think probably the most honest, best thing that one could do is just don't censor yourself, right? Like, I think people are so afraid that, oh, someone's gonna take it the wrong way. But even if you're the most intelligent, well-spoken person in the universe, always what you're gonna say is gonna be misconstrued, because there's always some sort of language barrier, etc. And so creating your own media, yeah, just don't censor it. Just say what's on your mind. And people say, oh, I'm so screwed, what if people take this the wrong way? Like, it don't matter. No matter what you do, someone's always gonna take what you're saying the wrong way. And it's so funny too, because if people start saying mean things about you or bad things about you or criticizing, critiquing you, that's actually, ironically enough, the best indicator of success, because nobody's going to critique or criticize a boring person, right? We always hate people who we're secretly in love with or jealous of or envious of. So for example, everyone hating on LeBron. I'm like, bro, why you hating on LeBron? LeBron's the GOAT. He's like, you know, built like a football player and plays basketball. I'm like, that's gangsta. Everyone hates him because, like, yeah, but he's always switching teams. I'm like, because he's not a slave, right? Like, he chooses what he wants to do. It's people don't like that, right? And also that's the thing that why it's sometimes it's bad to have fans or whatever, because let's say you want to leave, right? They finna burn you to the stake. Like Tom Brady, after he left the Patriots, I'm sure they burned effigies of him on the streets, because like fans, this is where I think sports and sports watching is so silly, is that essentially what you're doing is you're externalizing your ego to some sort of foreign entity. So when LeBron played for the Cavaliers, people felt better about themselves, they felt better about Cleveland, whatever. Cleveland? Is it Cleveland Cavaliers? Is it Cleveland? Let's say it's Cleveland. I don't know. So people get tied into it, right? Or let's consider all the Lakers bandwagoners, right? It's like people only like a team once they're good, right? Or like Golden State, right? So they see their own ego manifested in the superstar. I think that's also why you like to watch movies. You watch a movie and you think you're the hero, right? Like when you watch Iron Man, you think you're Tony Stark, or when you watch Thor, you think you're Thor, etc. So I think, you know, super movies are good. They inspire you, whatever. You watch John Wick, you think you're John Wick. You start wearing all black, grow out your facial hair, right? But anyways, with media, my biggest suggestion is kind of have fun with it. Just don't take it too seriously. Keep making it. And I mean, pro tip, I never edit my videos. I just create it, make it, open up the Safari tab, youtube.com/upload, and I just put it up there and I'm on to the next one. Create in a spirit of fun, curiosity, vlog yourself eating, talking, working out, anything. Ultra wide mode. No, when in doubt, just GoPro it.